Okay, so this is Videomakers, and this is a great episode because this is all about the filmmaking process, which I do relate to because I make YouTube videos, and this one in particular is no exception. Um, it begins with Finn and Jake. They have their own movie club where everyone comes in and are gonna watch a movie. And while the film's gonna start, Princess Bubba gonna notice something that is a warning sign, I guess. Like how on VHS, when you watch a movie on VHS, they show like a warning, an FBI warning, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
it's pretty much those FBI warning.
Yeah, a lot of
every movie
movies on like VHS and DVDs, they do that a lot. And so Finn Jake reads the description and was unauthorized, so he decided, oh, we had to cancel movie night. We gotta make, and we have to find a video that is authorized, So Finn come up with a great idea that why not we make a movie for ourselves? And Finn and Jake were excited, and what they did first is that they just shot like random things, like people in the land of ooh, like what they're doing, what the everything thing, blah blah. And Jake's like, well, we're trying random things. Why don't we just make a film, like a story? And that's what they did. And at first, it started out well. Like we have Finn's take on it, Jake's take on it. Everything went all complicated, going back and forth. Like Jake's idea is good, but Finn's idea is good, and one's bad, and whatnot, blah blah. And Finn wants to be an action adventure, but no, Jake wants to be a romantic comedy. But they all this fighting, which one works, which doesn't work, and so they have a little fight, and so towards the end, everyone gathered for movie club, and so or movie night. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's same thing. So basically, what they did was that they Vimo was gathered with the other characters of Wu, and what she did was is that instead of showing the movie like all the footage that they shot, she created a projector and sang a little cute song to Finn and Jake, like why they had to fight and whatever, blah blah, and everyone applauded because it was so good. And so Finn and Jake apologizes because they're brothers, and then they applauded, and then that's pretty much the end of the episode. The end. And I do like, on the one hand, I can relate to this one very much, Bill, because sometimes when I think most every kid, and it's not on this one, like most kids shows, like I don't know, not all of them, always have those characters that they want to make a movie and shot it and edit it and see how it is. I mean, every kid does that nowadays. But I do understand that some of the attitudes that Finn and Jake have, like they want it to be, one wants to be a romantic comedy, one wants to be an action adventure, which normally you can mix up genres, because if it's a horror film, it can be both. Like for example, like a good example was Frankenstein. A lot of people say Frankenstein is simply a horror film, but when you get down to it, it's mix of both. It's science fiction and horror. Same thing goes for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids from Disney. It's a comedy film, a science fiction film, and an adventure film. Same thing goes for Back to the Future. A science fiction movie, a comedy, and an adventure movie, and a high school movie. All mixed into one. So you can combine all of them into one. So there is great possibilities. But the one thing I like about it is that what this episode really showed very well is that filmmaking is not easy. Making movies, like whether it's on web show, TV, or film, is not easy. It's a collaborative process. Because you're collaborating, working with other people who's help you to make a film. And directing a movie is not easy, because you got to do several takes. And you want the actors to do something that you want to do the way you envision it. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. I understand what they're doing, and I like it. It really shows it's difficult to make a video or a film. Like you recommend people want to make it good and all. And that actually dates back to the old days, because a lot of film directors, like say Charlie Chaplin, And that's a good example. Charlie Chaplin's film City Lights, which came out like in 1920s, 30 something, I don't know what year. But there is one scene with the blind girl selling flowers. You know how many takes he has to get that right? 326 takes. That takes a tremendous amount of dedication, because he's a perfectionist. He wants everything to be good, and sometimes you're going to have to take a risk and do multiple takes in order to get the scene right.
Believe me, he has some movie projects, and we had to do a couple of takes. I could be an example. I was in one of them. Which what was it? Cautionary Love something?
No, Claire de Lune.
Claire de Lune.
It was my first film I have ever done. It's a movie. It's a film I've been wanting to do for 5 years. Not right now, it's 6, but back then it was like 5 years. And we did several takes. Because there was one scene with you and Sabrina, well, like at the scene where I was pointing the camera at her, and she was walking. She was trying to look at the hat. We did 5 takes on that scene. So I think that's a good example for it, because a lot of times you had to take several takes in order to get the scene right.
You have to review it and then
trying to see if this works, if this works, or this doesn't work. We give it one more try. But that's pretty much it. Because because when you do takes, you gotta do several takes. Because unlike Ed Wood, he just do one take, that's it, move on, that's it. You can't do it. You can't do a scene in just one take unless you're lucky. If you're satisfied with what you like, then you move on. But doing one take and that's it, no, you gotta do several takes. You gotta do several takes in order to get the scene right.
It's not really that good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Ed Wood. I mean, he's a bad director, but I'm not saying he's a bad person. I mean, I think a lot of film students really do watch one of his films and learn from it. And that's one thing about bad movies, that when you watch a bad movie, yeah, you can make fun of it and give your own criteria and thoughts of it, but at the same time, you learn from it. You learn from the errors and mistakes, and so you could become better filmmakers. And I think this one, when you think about it, this episode of Adventure Time is a good example of it. Like, when you're working with your partner trying to do a project and all, you're going to have to agree and disagree on most parts. Because it's like Steven Spielberg when he was making An American Tail. Don Bluth was directing the film. And we know what he said. All Steven Spielberg ever asked is to approve the scripts and approve the storyboards. That's all he ever asked. Because he gives him creative freedom. He can let him do whatever he wants. Because he said back in the day, during the 70s, and this was the dark age for Disney at the time, he said that everything in the studio was union control. You cannot do this, you cannot do that to make whatever. And he said that in the film Rescuers, I don't know if you've seen the movie Rescuers, the one scene that really, there's one part in the movie that really bugs him a lot, is that they didn't paint the mouse, like the mouse's the eyes white. They didn't paint them white, just leaves them plain as it is. And you know what he said? He said, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Why you had to make why do you say it's expensive to make paint the eyes white? It makes the screen look beautiful. And when he did a short film, he's like, it wasn't expensive. He would never just say that. He's like, okay, look, we can do this. It's so easy. He's like, stay still, just do what you ask. And even Gary Oldman said, like, pretty soon the audience, when they watch the movie, they can see that the movies could be cheaper looking. They're getting a cheaper product. And for Scooby-Doo, like the Scooby-Doo and Joseph Pussycat, like the eyes are not white, like Shaggy and that's understandable because it's TV, it's television. They had to keep in mind for its limitations because of the money and budget. But for films, like animated films, you need to paint their eyes white. But it wasn't until years later they got it right. But like I say, get back on track. It's a good episode. I really do understand it, and the message is to, you guys got to work together, agree and disagree. If you guys have to agree and disagree on certain things that in order to make the scene right and the scene work, you got to agree on most parts. Because it's like my brother, for example. My brother told. Show me. Because sometimes he asked me a question, like, hey, what do you think of this? I was like, I don't know, Frey, but keep working on it. Just keep on doing it. If you think it's good, it's good. So he gives me an approvals. He gives me his opinions. Like, okay. So basically, he had to ask opinions in order to make the scene rank and make the characters work, the story work, and everything works. So then, and that's one thing I like about this episode, because I think kids who watch this show, who wants to become filmmakers or something, definitely need to get this episode watched, because it has that attitude and that understanding, and yeah, and it really shows that filmmaking is a collaborative process. It's a visual art form. So basically, that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. So just work together as a team. No matter how it is, just agree or disagree on what you have. If your friend doesn't like one part, like, okay, let's see how he does. Let him do what he thinks. Let him do what he thinks. So work together. So that's teamwork, because that's filmmaking. So how about you, brother?
I think I just gotta say one thing. Before we do this filmmaking thing, I think it's better like sit down first, discuss what your plans are gonna be. If it's just gonna be romantic, comedy, or so that way you don't have to argue and you guys are in the same page and understand what you guys are gonna do. Like, okay, so we're doing romantic comedy, so in that way you guys sit together, come with ideas, and boom, then you get started on the project. And I guess that was Jake and Finn's biggest mistake, but they learn from it.
Yeah, they learn from it, because this is the first. I can tell this is like their first time making like a movie. That's their first time doing it, so they're very inexperienced, but they learn from it. They do learn from it, because that happens to me most of the time. Because whenever I do a video, I don't do storyboards. I didn't write a script. I just improvise it. Because on Dr. Zero, it wasn't like the first Dr. Zero when I did on High School Musical 3. It wasn't scripted. I never wrote a script. All I did is write the questions, and that's it. And I just improvise. It just comes into my mind. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work, because in order to make a film, whether it's independent or dependent, you need to have a script. You need to have a script and have storyboards to show what the scene is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one. That's another lesson. I think young kids who wants to pursue a career in filmmaking, want to make movies, should watch it and say, okay, write a script and storyboard. So that's pretty much how it is. So I think that's one mistake that they did. But then again, they just want to make a movie, without copyright, which I do understand. And I used to be like that. I used to be like, okay, let's not write a script. Let's just do the scene. Let's see how it works. So everything, because I can tell everything was all improvised. Like when Finn and Jake are filming the scenes, everything was all improvised. Even though they tell them what was going to be about, but it's best just to show them, write down a script and show it to them, and show the action, what the characters are doing, what they're going to say, in order to get the scene right. Because I remember. In my Christian school, we used to make a film, Teen Bully, which is our first film that we have done, and it was never scripted. There was never a script. Everything was improvised, and I'm glad we did it. But watching it now, it could have been done a little bit more better. It was written if we wrote a script about it, because if we wrote a script, the characters and the actors will say it more natural. Even though no matter how cheesy it is, but if the actors can pull it off well, then they can do it. A good example was Michelle Pfeiffer, who plays Catwoman in Batman Returns, because in that movie, she said a lot of corny lines. I say, "I'm Catwoman, hear me roar," and I was like, that is the dialogue sounds very corny, but the way Michelle Pfeiffer says it in her performance makes it sound so natural and so subtle at the same time. Now the actors can pull it off, and she did this really well. So that's another good lesson about it. I mean, it has multiple messages for filmmaking. In terms of filmmaking, it has multiple ones. I can see that. So yeah, well, honestly, I mean, I don't watch this episode a lot though, but when watching it now, it's like, yeah, I can understand about the characteristics, what they're feeling. So It's a good episode. It's very well done. It was well written. The characters were fun. Bimo's cute as always, and is a good episode in terms of filmmaking. So I don't know. I mean, if you have a kid who wants to pursue their career in filmmaking and wants to learn about how to make videos and all, or what movies, I think this is a very good example. And also, it's simple. It's very simplified. It's not like filmmaking. Okay, you got to step one, step two, step three. They show it, but in a very simple way, so kids can understand. And they did a really good job with that, and that's very awesome. So I got no words to say, but I give out everything about this. So any final thoughts?
No, I think you pretty much said everything. But like you said again, anybody that wants to pursue filmmaking and they want to have like a little head start, I think this episode might give them a little idea of what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, so yep, that's pretty much how it is. That's the vlog and that's the episode. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you later. And before we go, if you like this video, please press the like button. If you want to see more vlogs of me and Big Al, then please subscribe my channel, because you'll see more, so you can catch up what we're doing. So, and one more thing, if you are going to pursue your career in filmmaking, I'll name several movies. Watch Citizen Kane, watch CasaBlanca, watch
I think you should put them like, if you put it to YouTube, I think you should give them like links of movies. Write them in. No, like write them in the.
I'll just put it in the description. I'll just put it in the description below. So I'm not gonna name, but yeah.
Like
So
some movie.
yeah, that's a good idea. Good point, Big Guy. Good point.
You know, it's good to always. It's great to help the community.
Yeah, the filmmaking community, to be precise, and the YouTube community. So that's pretty much it. We'll see you next time. Later.